this weekend we're going to Boston. That's right, we are shipping up to Boston. And you know what? The fights are on Friday. So PSA for everybody, they're not on Saturday night like they usually are. They're rocking Friday night. So get off work, grab a beer, go home, get your bets ready to go. We've got some action this weekend. It's going to be a bit of a wild card with a lot of up and comers. So a lot of big question marks on this fight card. Not as many spots as I'm usually in love with for bets. The very first one, we're going to kick our night off on the undercard. We've got Randy Costa and Boston Salmon going at it. Both of these kids are absolute finishers. Both guys are coming off of their first UFC fights and their first UFC losses. They both got finished. Now, Randy Costa stepped into the UFC and he came out swinging like a wild man and actually hurt his opponent badly before he got taken down and subbed out in round 2. Boston Salmon got TKO'd in about 25 seconds. Randy Costa is a serious striker with some long range, some heavy hands, and before his UFC debut, he had less than 3 minutes of fight time in 4 knockout wins. Dude's got some serious finishing ability. I don't think this fight goes the distance, and I hit the under 2.5 at plus 100 right when that line dropped. That's probably been juiced down right now. I think I saw it at about minus 120. I love that pick. I do not see this thing going 3 rounds. I definitely don't see it going to decision because they're both bringing heat, and they're both going to want to put a statement on the fact that they belong in the UFC coming off that first loss. Our second pick is going to be Darren the Dentist Stewart. He's taking on Darren Wynn, and this is a really interesting matchup because Darren Wynn's an all-American caliber wrestler, and Darren Stewart has some serious heat in his hands. Big step up for Darren Wynn. He could use the wrestling to grind out a win here, but I like the dog, Darren Stewart. I got him a little earlier in the week. Money has come in on Wynn, so if you tail me here, you're going to get a better line than me. I got minus 106 at the pick'em price just because I think this might be too much too fast, and Darren Wynn is really small for the division. Our third pick, my girl Jillian Savage Robertson. She's taking on the undefeated Macy Barber. Now, Barber has the UFC's money machine behind her. They are hyping her up. They are looking to push her as a fighter. Jillian Robertson has been overlooked, and her skill set is incredibly dangerous. The girl has got all of her UFC wins by finish. She has a sick pressure game, and we saw Macy Barber really struggle against a lower level competitor in JJ Aldrich in her last fight. This is another big step up in competition. The big spotlight is on Macy Barber. Jillian Robertson is flying under the radar, and I think there is some serious value on her. I got her at plus 140. That line has crashed, and then there was some buyback. So I think she's sitting around plus 115 or plus 120 at this point. I still think there's value there. I think she straight wins the fight. In fact, I think she wins this thing by first round submission. So if you want to really roll those dice, take a shot on Jillian Robertson inside the distance. I think you're going to get about plus 200 on that. I absolutely love that, and I'll probably be sprinkling that myself. Our final pick of the night, we're going to the main event. Dominick Reyes is welcoming Chris Weidman to the 205-pound division. And Chris Weidman, he's the 185-pound former champion. He is 1-4 in his last 5. All 4 of those losses have been by knockout. The dude is shot. He's shop-worn. He was an incredible talent. He's tough, but he just can't cut it these days. He's talking about how he's motivated to jump up to 205 and take the title from John Jones and all this kind of stuff. When you're 35 years old and you're coming off of 4 knockout losses, I don't know that motivation for another title is going to get it done. It just won't be enough. Dom Reyes is a huge 205er. The dude is massive. He's 11-0, undefeated. He's got 6 knockout wins, heavy hands. He's a very talented striker, and he's got some wrestling chops himself. He's got really strong, powerful hips, so I think he's going to be able to get low, use the cage, defend that takedown, and if he forces Chris Weidman to stand with him, it's going to be a long night for Chris. I don't think he can hang with this guy on the feet. I especially don't think that he can hang with this guy on the feet for a full 15 or 25 minutes. It is the main event, so it's going to be a 5-round fight. Keep that in mind. I know you might think the 5-round fight is going to favor Chris Weidman, and gas tank-wise, maybe it does, but chin-wise, I don't think so, because the more he gets hit, the more of a chance he's got to go down. I am all about fading the aging fighter here in this spot. I think Dom Reyes is the future of 205 pounds. I think he's going to be a top 3 competitor here in just a fight or two. I am all over Dom Reyes in this spot. I got him at minus 147. He's sitting around minus 160, minus 165 at this point. And again, he's a fighter that I like to just straight up win. I think you can take him inside the distance if you want to, but we saw him grind out a really hard-fought decision against Volkan Oezdemir in his last fight. I prefer to play this one straight. I think it's just a safer way to go. We've only got 4 picks this week. I do apologize. I know that's a little closer to the vest, but we're trying to be careful because there's some serious volatility on the card. One thing I do want to mention is the co-main event is Yair Rodriguez versus Jeremy Stephens. That was the headliner for UFC Mexico not too long ago, and it had that really weird ending where Jeremy Stephens got poked in the eye about 15 seconds into the fight and they had to cancel it. So they've rebooked it. That fight is happening on Friday. And I don't like it. I had Jeremy Stephens when this was a 5-round main event fight because I think he's going to be able to tag Yair up and Yair gasses as the fight goes on. However, with it being moved to the co-main event slot, it's a 3-rounder instead of being a 5-rounder, and I think that really favors Yair Rodriguez. He can keep his gas tank up and he can keep his striking up over the course of 15 minutes so much more effectively than he can over the course of 25 minutes. Plus, if we're banking on Jeremy Stephens to get that knockout, it's going to be a lot harder to do in just 3 rounds than it will be in the 25 minutes he had available to him the last time they were scheduled. I've got a very, very hard lean to Jeremy Stephens. I am not pulling the trigger on it at this point, however, because, like I said, becoming a 3-round fight really, really favors Yair Rodriguez. Jeremy Stephens, however, is fired up. I've never seen him this emotional before. I've never seen him this angry before. He feels like he absolutely got stiffed the way the fans treated him. He took offense to it. And the fact that Yair Rodriguez is telling him and everybody basically that he was a bitch and he pulled out of that fight and he faked the eye poke, he's taking that very personally. I think he's going to come out here looking for blood. At the weigh-ins just yesterday morning, this morning, he said in Spanish that your boy is going to die. So he is looking to do some serious damage to Yair Rodriguez. If you like the emotion, if you like the heat he's bringing to the table, take that shot. I'm just a little nervous that he might go for that kill a little too much and overextend, and Yair will be able to stick and move and get his way to a decision. So good luck this weekend, everybody. Fights are on Friday. Don't forget, you can hit me up at Die MMA Pod on Twitter. Chat with me about the fights. If you have any questions about any of the other matchups that we didn't get to, feel free to hit me up over there. Hopefully things will be better. Jimmy, we hope you get feeling better soon, man, and we will see y'all next week.